Yo, hey, there we go. Checkity check. What is up? And man, very sad news in the gaming industry. Depends on who you ask, but I'd say on 98% of people who've ever been to E3 will definitely miss it. And then a lot of people who've never been will probably talk. I mean, here's the thing, like, it's incredibly sad news. Did we know it was coming? And like, yeah, maybe a rebranding, but man, like, the more and more things happen, the more it was just like the writing was on the wall. And I'm telling you, if you've never been to E3, it's an experience. It's hard to put into words what it feels like going to E3, especially just, for your first time. It is a spectacle, and it is awesome. I mean, yes, there are long lines. Yes, there's a ton of people, but it is a magical event. Most of my t-shirts and all this stuff that I wear are from E3. Like the majority, like 80% of my t-shirts are from E3, because you'd go over there and they'd give you like the swag, man, and woo, it was an experience. My first E3 was the announcement of the DS, and I think I started like most people started, was like the early YouTubers, when YouTubers weren't, they're like, yeah, what are these people, but just kind of like it was kind of a lot easier to get into, just a business card, and all you needed to do is just go to a place, get a business card, and it was very easy. And like, I had no idea how easy it was, but that's not how I got in. I got in, I guess, around the time of the DS, and my brother's girlfriend came. Me and Steve were hanging out playing video games, way back in the day, 2003. And my brother's girlfriend comes in and like, hey guys, you guys like video games, right? And like, and we're like, yeah, like, cause like, yeah. And it's like, well, my friend is working E3 and he has some passes. Do you guys want to go? And we're like, oh. And we meet with the guy, we get his phone number, and he's like, yeah, I got some extra passes. And it was because, like, we have to give face, because my brother's girlfriend was Russian, her friend was Russian, and the company that put together the booth was Russian. And so we got extra badges, and there was two of them. And what Steve will tell you the story. One was Yuri Vudorowski, and the other one was Marina Pushkin. And I'm like, hey, it was my brother's girlfriend that got us in here. So I take the guy name, you take Marina Pushkin. So Steve was Marina Pushkin. We meet up with them, we put on their badges, and we get in, and we're like, oh, it's amazing, man. We took the subway, and so many memories of back in the day of taking the subway to E3, and yeah, it was amazing. And I just remember, like, you remember your first E3? You remember the first time going legit, being part of the industry and getting invited? It felt like such an honor, because then later on when I worked at WayForward, oh yeah, you would just have to show a check stub, a copy of a check stub, and a business card. And there was ways that people got around it back in the day, but man, I'm telling you, but the first time, like, you get in there like legit, you feel like you did it. You feel like you've accomplished. I made it. I've been invited. The industry knows me, and man, I'm telling you, it was such an amazing place. It was like so awesome, like such a great place to network too, man. Everybody's there, the developers, all that stuff. You're hanging out. Sometimes at the at the event, you could do like, hey, here's who I am. Like, I remember I took my buddy Orion, and he was a up and coming voice actor, and now he's been working in video games. I took him to E3 one year, and it was awesome. There was one time where I got multiple badges by accident, and I'm like, okay, yo, let's go. And I took a couple, like, E3. It was like it was a party. It was insane. It was so cool. And it was like mostly industry, so it wasn't like, a stinky place. It was a really cool, it was like like 90% of people there were industry, so you didn't get the stinkies, right? Like you go to another conventions and stuff like that, and it's like, oh man, this guy forgot to put on deodorant. But man, I'm telling you, just the excitement, the announcements, all this stuff, hands-on with the games, and it just kept getting cooler and cooler every year because later on, when YouTubers and the influencers became a thing, then like we finally got to because before, man, without it, I remember the early days of VIPs and like regular entries. Like, you'd wait like an hour to play a game and the VIP would come in and like, hey, they would be like, damn you VIPs. And yeah, it was a party. It was t-shirts and swag and all kinds of like cool stuff. Like the older the E3, the cooler swag that you would get. That was just, man. And then, as time goes, it was still cool. As time went on, then, the same thing that happens with other conventions. The resellers come in. And there was resellers that would come in. And resellers is just, man, it just ruined everything. Because it was just like when the resellers came in, it wasn't that bad because it was still difficult to get in. It wasn't like Comic-Con, but there was a good amount of resellers that would just go in and like, oh, this swag, and like, they were like, oh, this is selling worth of this much. But man, E3 was magic, man. It was something that's hard to describe. To like, it was just this big celebration of video games and excitement and playing games for the first time, and meeting the devs and stuff. I remember I met the Cuphead devs there. I met so many cool devs. Like I did 1 year, my daughter was super into Plants vs. Zombies, and Garden Warfare was doing a big expansion, and I went there and I got an autographed shirt for my child with all the devs, and it was the best moment. But man, I'm telling you, the things I remember all. Like 2003, I remember feeling sad when it got small again because of like, just like, it's too big, and then like, super invite only, and it was like really sad. And then I went to the next year after that, and I managed to sneak in. Well, I didn't sneak in. I accidentally walked in because I didn't know what was going on, and I accidentally walked into the convention center, and was in there. And I have to, one day I'll find the photo with me and Reggie in the elevator. But it was such a cool event, and it's sad to see it go. Like now, E3 is just going to be throughout the year. It's going to be, in Summer Game Fest. It's going to be the Game Awards. It's going to be different events, and it's just like, man, I'm telling you, it was just 3 days, and like, and it's like my experience has changed like through the years, right? Like especially with being big fighting games, and then the companies knowing us, so we'd go to like NetherRealm Studios and just play MK as long as they would let us. We try not to annoy the team at NRS, but like, hey, we'll just sit on the side, and if something opens up, and then we'd play. And like Capcom and KI and so many great games. And now it kind of, it's throughout the year. Like we went through a Tekken event just recently, and it was kind of just like E3. It's like, hey, and it's neat, but man, it's, and I've been to, Summer Game Fest is awesome. Summer Game Fest is great. It's like a miniature E3, and it's very intimate, and it's cool. But E3 was the Super Bowl. It was Mardi Gras. It was it was everything rolled into one. And man, I'm telling you, I had good times with Djibouti Dubs. Like, and it's not coming back. I mean, the next best thing is PAX. But I'm not trying to like say, oh, if you pay for it, like PAX is dope. Don't get me wrong. But like, there's something about being invited to E3 and you just go, and it is amazing. It is an experience. But man, like, rest in peace. And like, not even to mention the fact with Yo Video Games, the first time going with Yo Video Games, and like, all right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get a plan. We're gonna go watch the announcements, react, get in the van, go to the E3, go here, go there, do this and do that. And it was so much fun. Like, You know, like I remember one year when Disney Infinity came out, and me and JJ were like, let's line up. And me and JJ just kept lining up and going around circles, and it was awesome. It was super cool. We teamed up and we got like almost the whole entire collection. It's like, and you know, now there's a lot more YouTubers and a lot more new generation of YouTubers, and I'm sad that they didn't get to see it, man, because I'm telling you, people are like, oh yeah, you know, good riddance. And I'm like, you just never been. It's an amazing thing. I mean, I wish it could have evolved a bit and, you know, changed up for it to survive, but it probably would have to been smaller. But it was like, just through the years, it's like, oh, Nintendo, you know, Microsoft pulled out. Oh, Nintendo pulled us. And it's just like, yeah, you know, it did. Yeah. Did it need to change? Yeah. Eventually, like, maybe make it smaller, maybe make it not as expensive. I do believe that maybe, you know, the public option was good to like maybe so the companies wouldn't have to pay so much, and like, hey, we could just, you know, make money from, yeah, man. Cause like, yeah, like companies were just like, dude, we're paying millions and millions of dollars. And you know what it is? This is what it is. E3 was like the World's Fair of video games. It definitely was. It was the World's Fair. People from all over the world came. These amazing booths, giant presentations, video games, free stuff, the newest technology in video games. It was the World's Fair. And just like the World's Fair, it's pretty much gone, right? I mean, I don't know, it's still kind of around, but like, you know, when you see the old New York World's Fair, that's what it was. And it's going to be like, I'm going to tell my grandchildren, if I have grandchildren, that's another, but yeah, my grandchildren, man, E3 was a party and this and that. But yeah, all right, chat. Well, that's it. I'm really sad that it's gone. If you want an E3 like experience, which is pretty close, try PAX. It's right up there. It's pretty dang close to E3. It's like we got E3 at Seattle or Boston. But anyways, guys, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys have a good time. If you guys been to E3, let me know. If you guys haven't, yeah, I'd love to hear your stories. But man, I have so many E3 stories I can tell, and we could do that in another video. All right, peace.